Lesson 11.7, Slope-Intercept Form. Slope-intercept form is the linear equation y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope, the b is the y-intercept. You have already seen an equation similar to this, and that was function form. The only difference is now we call the a, the number next to x, we call that the slope. The b is your y-intercept. Now be careful, it's not the y-coordinate, it's the intercept. So it's where on the graph the line crosses the y-axis. So for the numbers y equals 4x plus 1, the number next to x, is the slope, and 1 is the y-intercept. Let's identify the slope and y-intercepts. You have y equals negative x plus 7. Now remember that this negative x does have a number in front. What number could be multiplied by x and not change the fact that it's negative x? That's a 1. So we could say that the number next to the x, and just the number, is the slope, negative 1, and the y-intercept is 7. We are going to skip part B. Once we know the slope and the y-intercept, we can easily graph it. A little bit easier than doing our chart. So we actually, remember how we would usually do it, we would do our chart? We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to use the fact that we know that the y-intercept is 5. What that means is that on the y-axis, I'm going to go to the number 5, and I'm going to put a dot. And the dot is at 0, 5, which is what I did, just y is at 5. The slope then is y 1 over 4. So plot a second point by moving up and right. Why up and right? Because the slope is a fraction. And remember, we have rise over run when we talk about slope. Because it's a positive 1, we go up. Remember, positives are going up. And because it's a positive 4 in the denominator, we go to the right. So we're going up 1, right 4. So from the 5, you have to start at the 5. Go up 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot. Now you draw a line through the points. Don't just connect them, but through the points. Use the calculator, use a straight edge, and it should be a nice graph all the way through. And that's all you have to do. So there is no more with the chart. You don't have to do that anymore. Let's try number 1. Find the slope and y-intercept of the graph of the equation. So what is the slope? What is the y-intercept? The slope is 4. The y-intercept is 3. We start with the y-intercept, 3. So on the y-axis, that's what the b means. We go up to 3, we put a dot. Now we use the slope 4. Okay, the slope 4 is not a fraction. How can I turn it into a fraction? By putting it over 1. 4 is positive, so I go up. Remember, the numerator is your rise, so it's either up or down. Your denominator is left or right. I'm going to go right. So from this dot, I'm going to go up 4 and right 1. Draw a line through the points. Remember to go through the points. Use a straight edge so that you have a nicer graph than I do. And there's your graph. Number 2, we do need to rewrite this, and I'll do this for you. Remember, we add the opposite of the x term. That means we're going to get left with negative y equals 8 plus negative x. So I'm going to divide by this negative 1 that's there. And you have y equals negative 8 plus, now there's a 1 there too, so this actually just becomes x because it's positive 1. Two negatives make a positive. So what's the m? What's the b? The slope is right next to the x. Well, there is no number there. It's an invisible 1. The b is the single number that's not being multiplied by anything. It's called the constant. That's the b. So we're going to start on the constant and go to negative 8, put a dot. Now the slope is 1, and I'm going to make the slope into a fraction by putting it over 1. So I'm going to come down here. The rise is up or down. I'm going to go up. The run is right because it's positive. So I'm going to go up 1, right 1. And by the way, you can continue this pattern by continuing to go in the direction the slope is. So I can continue to go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Just like here, I could have continued to go up 4 to the right 1. That might make it easier sometimes, especially when they're so close together, to get a nice straight line. With number 3, let me just help you out and tell you that this is adding, and what could I put here that wouldn't change the fact that it's negative 2/3 x? Well, 0. For number 4, you're going to rewrite the problem. So we have y equals, I'm going to keep this 5 over 2 because that's slope and that's in a fraction form, x plus, I can simplify 6 divided by 2, which is 3 though. I do not need the y-intercept as a fraction, but I do want to keep my slope as a fraction so I can see my rise over run. So the slope here, and b, go ahead and solve 3 and 4 yourself. Pause the video. Number 3, the slope is negative 2 over 3. The b is 0. So at the 0, you're going to put a dot on the y-axis. Now the slope is negative 2. That means the rise is down towards the negatives. 3, right. So we are going to go down 2, right 3. Instead of going down and to the right, I could think of it as the complete opposite. Because technically I could say that the negative is with the 3, and that means I'm going up and to the left. So from this 0, I could go up 2, left 3. See how that's still on the line? And then, oh, as close as you can, draw the line. Number 4, the slope is 5 over 2. Remember, keep it as an improper fraction. It's going to make it easier to see the rise and the run. B is 3. So at the y-intercept, it's 3. 5 is up, 2 is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 right. And there's your line. This is the end of the lesson. We are skipping example 3.